In the engine compartment, you see the transcooler that's been added by the original owner. The heater box has been taken out. We have the heater box assembly with the controls. Deals that he did with the brakes in here. This isn't the original engine as we've spoken. It is a date-coated castings to the original engine. During its day of being drag raced, the original engine was sold. It's a hell of a survivor car. This car has the original paint still on it. When I look at the front end, I can see where the top of the fenders have been painted, the nose, cross chair, obviously from the years that it was drag raced, leaning over it probably wore the paint off of it. I've noticed also on the back corner of this car, on the right quarter, I don't know if you can see this, Andrew, as you come around, but on this right quarter, when you're looking right about here, you can see where a blend was done. You see the original paint, and you see the blend. Okay? Then you look around the rest of the car, just the paint, the original paint that's on the car, it's pretty awesome. We're going to go up in the air, show you the bottom of this car. Bottom's pretty neat. The biggest thing that I want to point out is the rear wheel wells. You can see where the original owner tucked them in here a little bit so he could put a little bit bigger tire on this car because of the class that he ran in. The stock class, he had to keep it stock looking. You see a little something right here where it went in. But this is looking at the bottom of the car. This car was undercoated, and we'll get to that here in a minute. The left-hand quarter panel you can see is the same way, where he rolled in part of that top lip. Looks like he kind of massaged it here and here, the same on both sides. Just to get that bigger tire in there. And this quarter panel looks like it's been spotted some. When you're looking inside the door jambs for obvious rust problems, best I can tell you is, to me, I don't see any obvious problems at all with rust. So to give you an idea of the inside of the trunk, weather strip's a little tattered, falling apart, getting hard. But when you look inside the trunk, what's going on in here, this looks good. It's hard to believe that this car is as nice as it is for as old as it is, but just goes to show when you don't drive them, you keep them in a dry building, it's hard for them to rust. And the original owner put the battery in the back, opposite where he was at. Kind of figure that one out, but that's the patina of this car. Okay, this would be another obvious spot to look for rust. You can see where this car was undercoated originally by the original owner. Little spot right there where the paint was rubbed off on both sides, where there's a little, maybe from a toe strap of some sort once in its life. And as in also in the letter from the original owner, he talks about taking the disc brakes off and putting drum brakes on the front. We have the original disc brakes, the calipers, rotors, spindles, whatnot. Going our way back, you see all the hoses that are coming up in here. He has dual electric fuel pumps in the back of the car that look to be disconnected because there's a manual pump on the car. We changed oil before we started. We had this car running probably 10 years ago. Put it back into the storage building. You can see all the undercoating underneath this car. And you can tell it's Never been re-undercoated from the first time. But today in Kathy's life, she says it's time to part with another car. So it's time for it to go. Maybe this weekend we'll talk her into taking the split window out for a little ride, but that hasn't been out this year. It's a shame to let cars sit. It's great to have cars, but it's even better if you can take them out and enjoy them. This car was too much for her to drive or me to have the desire to drive, because it's not what I do. And so it's a good time for it to find a new home. Survivor Series is out there right now with the deal that the guys at the Roadster shop are doing with their chassis. You can bolt one of their chassis underneath this car, and LT4 engine, and rock and roll, and have a hell of a lot of fun in this car, because the patina of this car is great. The history of this car, from the original owner to its drag racing life, is over the top. Its first part of its life. It's 17,000 miles on it. It's still like a new car, a new old car. But the patina of this car, the history of this car, protectile plate's never been filled out. Still has original origin of paperwork from General Motors. It's never had a title issued to it. So if you want to drive it, you're going to have to change that. You're going to have to register that MSO and put a title to it, but that's your choice what you want to do with it. So this is coming up for auction, and we're going to let her roll. Thanks for watching.